pretty interesting. I don't know. I've been watching a lot of content on YouTube, and most of the content always keeps moving towards how miserable life is here in the UK and the cost of living. And it's just very interesting to note that most of these are men who are posting these videos. I'm not seeing a lot of posts from women, complaining that it's very difficult, life is difficult here in the UK. I'm just seeing a lot of men posting, and most of these men are working class, blue collar job people, just trying to make ends meet, living on, we can say, below average salary, because even the average salary is it really average? I don't really think so. So there's a lot of there are 3 videos I wanted to share with you guys, and let's just get right into it, because it's just really depressing and scary to just hear what these guys are saying. And so let's start off with this guy. This guy is like, the average UK salary isn't enough. Okay, let's hear what this guy has to say.
They called it the London living wage, but I think they need to change it to the London surviving wage, because you're not really living. You're just surviving to get to the next month and have enough food on the table.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are sacrificing food for the central heating.
Freaking hell, man. It's like you're living paycheck to paycheck. When you get paid, all that money that you've gotten paid is just going towards bills. It's like you're a freaking battery. That's what it is. Your lifestyle here is like a battery. You work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, sometimes even Saturdays, sometimes even on Sundays, and they count every freaking second that you're working so that they can account for how much they need to pay you. And whatever they pay you is just enough for you to survive so that you don't die. That's basically what it is. That's the lifestyle here. And a lot of people think, oh, you've made it in the UK. You're in the UK. You're living a really good life. And that's why a lot of immigrants are coming in, because they feel like, oh, yeah, life here is better. But then when they actually get here, they realize, holy crap, this life is not for everyone. It's not for the weak-hearted.
Man, I get 40K. I'm 40 years old. I get 40K a year.
40K.
That's not enough.
40K. Okay, let me stop interrupting this dude, man.
To live in London, that is not enough. I have more month than I do money at the end of it. I have more month than I do money. I get text messages from Santander a week, not even sometimes second weeks after I got paid. 2 weeks, after I got paid, I'll get messages from Santander. I don't need to read these messages. I know exactly what they're saying.
You know what pisses me off the most is your rent keeps going up every year. Your cost of food and everything keeps going up. When they say inflation is coming down, or inflation is just the same, it's not rising. Inflation means, what does inflation mean, right? It's the steady growth of the prices, the steady growth. That value needs to be negative in order for you to see actual prices coming down. Prices never come down. Nothing goes down. We just see prices. And I remember I was just looking at bus rides just the other day. I remember back in 2019, a bus ride from where I'm living to go up to the high street was £1, right? And then they raised it to £1.50, and now it's a £1.75, and it's just going to be there. And we just have to now accept it. There's nothing that we can do about it. It's just, that's what it is. Just live life like that, and then a couple of months from now, a couple of years from now, it'll be £2, £2.50, and we'll just move on like that. Like, it's like the money that you have in your bank, the longer you hold on to it, the less value it holds. Make this make sense to me. Make it make sense.
You're overdrawn, refused payment, all this kind of stuff. I have a credit card that's only allowance is £200. I max out on that now.
Imagine you have a credit card. You're taking out loans so that you can pay your basic needs. Your basic needs. It's not like I want to go on a vacation or something. It's your basic needs, man. Man, this is some. Hey.
I'm crawling to the end of the month. I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and I'm like, savings? What is that? Yeah. I've heard of that. But when people ask me, oh, have you got any savings? It's embarrassing. You might as well ask me, what's my sex life like? Like, it's a personal question because I ain't got none. What savings? I've got zero savings. I had savings at one point. Now I've got nil pra. Zero. Nada. After you pay the rent, and you know, we live in a 2-bedroom house.
Don't even talk about the rent.
Once we half the rent, I'm paying about 1,300. Then you've got the car tax.
Oh, 1 second,
insurance.
Man. 1 second. You're on a 40K salary and your rent is 1,300. On a 40K salary, if I'm not mistaken, on a 40K salary, you should be making about 2,500 a month, and 1,300 is going towards your rent. Not even 25. I could be wrong on 25. It could be even less than that. Holy.
The petrol, which is like I'm spending about 30 quid. It feels like every 3 days. I don't even drive that much, really. But it's just so expensive, petrol now. I've got phone bill, food, you know, like when you add up everything, the applications that I have, so I'm a graphic designer, I've got websites, so I pay for that. Like the money just goes. Travel costs, pay for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, it's not like I'm flying out here, there, and everywhere. It's not like I'm buying Gucci bags and all this kind of stuff.
Exactly. When it's not like we're spending money to buy clothes or shoes or like anything. Even look at this guy's talking about clothes as a luxury item. How messed up is that? Clothes, like you want to clothe yourself and you have to think about, okay, I have to put some money aside so that I can buy some clothes for myself. That's mental. That's mental, man.
And this and all these kind of name brands. I don't even get chance to shop in bloody Primark these days. Primark, I'm looking at the prices and go, putting it back on the aisle. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm working my ass off, stressed out, surviving to keep my job. They're always trying to find something wrong that I do now. Like, and this ain't living. This ain't living. I'm literally surviving now. And it's not a fun existence.
That's what it is. It's just surviving.
And I've been really having some deep thoughts about moving away. But
yeah, but then even to move away, you'll need money. So you don't have savings. So how the hell are you gonna, you're gonna move? So they just pay you just enough so that you can stay in that position and not progress any further, because they don't want you to leave, of course, because you're good at your job. So they'll just keep you in that position, but not pay you too much so that you have savings so you can move out of the country or travel or do something, whatever, right? Man, it's like eat or be eaten. That's the lifestyle here, basically. And a lot of people think that, oh, it's just, you're living the dream life. And the worst part of all of this, and I'm going to talk about this later on, we'll watch like these other 2 videos, but the worst part of all of this is you sacrifice all this time and effort just to make ends meet and pay all your taxes, and then you see other people living off benefits, and other people that don't do jack shit are completely not even contributing anything towards society. They are completely lazy, deadbeat people. They're just sitting at home waiting for the government to come in and help them with some money, right? And they're there making life difficult for the people that are actually working and contributing to society. It's just so sad.
Maybe it will get better soon. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm going to talk about that later.
I don't know.
Nah, man.
But yeah, it's yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. And the way the financial state of the UK is looking, it's going to get even worse. Tax is going to go up. Travel, I think there's going to be, I don't know, I thought they said they're going to freeze it, but I mean, that's going to go up.
Oh, yeah.
Man, after April, and it's just like, what's the worth of living in London now? People are depressed, and I know why. I'm depressed. When I go, I used to be like, why is everyone looking so miserable? I'm looking miserable. It's not that we're bad people.
Yeah. So you're working your ass off just to try and pay bills and just stay afloat. And then you have the crappy weather to deal with. You have the crappy tax system to deal with. Then all of this now just puts all this stress on you. So you don't even feel like being happy. So all you can do is just be miserable. And then other people are looking at you like, I don't want to talk to anyone. So you don't want to talk to your neighbors. You don't socialize with anyone. And that just now spirals down into an even more worse situation for you. Man, this is messed up, yo.
It's just, everyone's maxed out, stressed out. You know, the job market sucks. A lot of the jobs I see,
Oh, let's not even talk about the job market. The worst thing I hate about the job market is when you look at a job posting and you look over there, competitive salary. I'm telling you guys, it just pisses me off to see competitive. What do you mean by competitive? Competing with what? Competing with my bills? I don't want a competitive salary. I want you to tell me how much you're going to pay me. Because look, when you're searching for a house, when you're searching for a place to live, they tell you how much. This is how much we expect you to pay rent. It's not a competitive rent. They don't post there like, oh, this is a competitive rent. We'll be competing with other people who are, offering a place for you to live in the same area. It's going to be a competitive rent price. Nah, they just tell you this is how much we want you to pay us, right? So when I'm looking for a job, I don't want to see competitive salary. What does competitive salary mean? I don't want it to compete with anything, please. Just tell me how much you're going to pay me. Because I can't be jumping through all these hoops, doing all these 5-10 interviews with a take-home assignment and, answer all these questions and give you all these answers and solutions to your problems. And then at the end of the day, you tell me, oh, we can only offer you like 30,000.
Nothing like 20 grand. For my position, 20 grand 30. I'm like, what the hell? And they're like, oh, must have this, must have that, must have all these additional things.
Yeah.
Must be a designer.
And then the requirements that you need to have just to fill that position. It's mental. Yo, it's not even realistic, honestly.
But be an animator and be a coder. And also experience in the financial sector is a must. And all this, I'm like, what the heck? People are just taking the piss because they know you've got how many applicants trying to get the job. It's literally crazy, my guy. It's literally insane the way it is living in London. Never used to be like this. And then you look, there's roadworks, and it doesn't look like everything's really getting sorted out. Crime is up.
Yeah, the construction. Oh yeah, that was something I never really noticed. I was like, why is, when I used to commute to the office, I'd be like, every time I'd always see a road that's under construction. There's always something being built or something being fixed on the roads. There's always roadworks ahead. But what? Why does it, it's always a continuous thing? It's always, is it that they don't have money to fund the roadworks? What's going on, really, I'm
like, broski, how do I get out of here? What plans I need to make to get out of it? Because honestly, bro, I don't know about this.
It's not even funny, man. Shit, I don't even know why I'm laughing. It's so messed up. That's why I'm laughing.
I do not know about this.
All you can do is just sit back and laugh.
So yeah, man.
Damn.
Don't call it a living wage. It's a surviving wage right now.
Yeah.
It's peak.
All right, this is the next video. Check this out. Let's watch this guy.
I just quit my job. And in about a couple of months' time, I'm leaving the UK for good. No backup plan, no safety net, and I'm roughly $30,000 to $40,000 in debt. Ooh. And in this video, I'll share with you why I made this life-changing move, and what's behind it, and how I'm going to be preparing for the unknown. So stick around to the end of the video to find out exactly where I'm going, because it's somewhere that you probably wouldn't have heard any other person go to.
Man, this story was just so depressing. Holy.
So first things first. Why did I quit my job? So to give you context, I worked in telemarketing, essentially sales, over the phone sales. I was earning roughly £32,000 a year, maybe $35,000 a year. Not bad.
Yeah, you can't really do that well with that salary, man.
Not amazing either. But essentially, I quit for multiple reasons. One, the lack of fulfillment. And, you know, it was the same thing every day, very monotonous. Just calling people, trying to obviously convince them to buy something that they don't particularly want. It wasn't cold calling, it was, there's people that knew who we were. And yeah, it was no fulfillment from that. You weren't really, the only progression that you had was over time you picked up more clients so you could earn more money. But that's about it. But number two, I wanted a bit more location independence. It wasn't remote work. I had to go into the office every day, you know, Monday to Friday. Luckily we had flexi time, so, you know, we could essentially work Monday to Thursday from 9 till 7 p.m. essentially, if we wanted to. It's what I did mostly. And yeah, and it was just stressful for, in reality, no money. Obviously it was a lot more than the average wage, but...
Imagine, he's talking about 35K more than the average wage. Like, I think the average wage right now is 30,000, I think 30 or 25, 27,000, 28,000, I think. And even with that kind of money, do you see the rent prices? Like, this guy, he's gonna, later on he's going to talk about, like, he's okay. I'll just let him just carry on with the story. But he's saying that's still a little bit above average, and he's still surviving.
Not much. And the reason why this all kind of spurned, you know, why now essentially is because essentially my girlfriend, we're living at her mum's house. Her mum is actually living with her boyfriend, so we basically got the place to ourselves. But basically her...
Yeah, so if he was living in his own place with his girlfriend, I don't think these guys would be able to survive. Nah, there's no way with that salary, no. In fact, that's why he was able to survive. And he's able to at least save up so that he can move out. The previous guy, you saw what he was saying. Holy.
My girlfriend and her mum had a conversation that she essentially wants to move back into a house with a boyfriend, save costs because they're renting elsewhere. And so either, they weren't forcing us out, but there's either one, we live with them, which we live in like a 2-bedroom, small house, very, very small. So we'll be on top of each other, and 3 people was too much. Having 4, yeah, it's just going over the top. So anyway, so my girlfriend came to me and said, right, we got to move out. Because I'm not living with
Of course.
my mum and her boyfriend. And I was like, fair enough, nor do I. So I was like, right, where are we going to go then? And she goes, well, I was thinking, let's move abroad. I was like, okay. She's like, well, I've had a look. You know, if you were to rent, we live on the south coast, Bournemouth way. You know, rent down here for something, nothing spectacular, 1 bedroom, £1,000 a month maybe.
Freaking hell.
Yeah.
£1,000 a month.
And then, never mind, bills, council tax, Wi-Fi, blah, 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 blah.
Oh yeah, well, obviously you've got all those other bills as well. You've got the council tax, Wi-Fi, phone bill, water, electric, gas.
Gas, electric. You're looking at least something reasonable without being too scrimpy. Maybe 150, no, sorry, £1,500 a month.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
That is roughly.
Just in bills.
So
1,500 just in bills, so that
I get paid
so that you don't die.
About 2,400 a month. So I basically have £900 spare, and that's without any entertainment, luxuries. That's not even including car.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm sharing a car with my girlfriend, so I don't need that. Yeah. So by the time you add in everything that you'd want, luxuries and all that, you'd be looking at, well, I'll probably say £2,000 a month minimum, really. Absolute minimum. So that'll leave me, what, £400 spare? So cost of living here in the UK, it's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, I've always wanted to do my own thing, so I needed that time. So that's,
you know, this guy is lucky. This guy is lucky because at least his mom owns some property, and he was able to like still live with his mom. But imagine those people that had to like move out and start their lives from scratch. Like, how are you even surviving, guys? How are you even surviving? Because this guy says it the best. I loved what this guy was talking about. So let's listen to this guy. Check this guy out, man.
This one is just straight off the cuff, guys, talking about what it's like to live in the UK. I'm from the UK. I'm from Edinburgh, Scotland, and I live in Edinburgh, Scotland. I'm working full-time for a bank, and I am earning only £19,200 a year after tax and national insurance. The average salary when I was born in 1987 was about £19,200. I am earning the average salary in 2024, almost 2025. I'm only earning the average salary in the UK in 1987. Yes.
Shit.
The average house price in 1987, the year I was born, was that. The average salary is that.
Imagine half that is your yearly salary. Like, you could have paid for your house in a couple of years. Couple of years, you'd be able to own your own house. That's half the oh, man. That is just crazy. Like, he's gonna point out the salary and the house prices today.
Today in the UK, the average salary is this, and in the UK, the average house price is this. I looked at the figures earlier, and
that's, I think the figure that he's giving is up north, because if you account London in there, that's mental, yo.
was absolutely shocked. So yes, old timers, all the baby boomers in this country, they all say, I worked a lot, and I paid for my house. But yeah, it was a lot easier to buy a house back in the 70s.
Yeah, on a single income. And the man of the house, being the man of the house, yes, you could afford to let your wife stay at home, the wife and kids stay at home, and you, the man of the house, with your single income, you are able to sustain them and pay for your mortgage and buy the house in like a couple of years. And life was amazing back then, right? And your parents now look at you like, oh, why are you not moving out? You're not even like doing this. You're supposed to be married by this time. But look at the freaking cost of living. How are we even supposed to survive? How are we even supposed to move out? If you want us to start a family, where the freaking hell is the house? We need to be able to afford a house. We need to be able to afford just to live first to begin with. It's just messed up.
In the 80s and the 90s, compared to what it's like nowadays. So I'm happy to be from Scotland. I had a very nice upbringing, free education. We have kind of a good free healthcare system. It's not really free. It used to be a lot better than what it is today. But yes, the point of this video today is to explain why I've decided to leave the UK. It's not affordable here. If you want a high standard lifestyle, if you want to live by yourself, have a car, work full time but for not too long, if you want to retire early, the UK is not the place. It's ridiculously expensive here. The average salaries now is this.
Damn.
Again, like, that is not enough.
Not even close.
That is not enough for people to live a high standard lifestyle in what's supposed to be a first world country. This is not a first world country. This is a dystopia, pretending to be a first world country.
Yeah.
That has a very low standard. The crime rate's getting higher. Illegal immigration or illegal migration, whatever you want to call it, is getting higher. We have politicians that don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to fix anything. They just make things worse. We have a prime minister in office now who just exacerbates all the issues that we've got, doesn't bother to actually address them and fix them, just makes them worse. There is no hope for this country, the UK. This place is done. This place The UK, doesn't matter where, Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, this is not an up-and-coming country. The UK has had its glory days. It's had its highs. Probably the best time in this country to be a working adult was probably when I was born in the 80s and the 90s, maybe even the early 2000s. But as things are now, with the cost of living and all the issues that we are facing here, it doesn't matter if you're British or not. If you're living here in the UK and if you're working here full time, you already know what I'm talking about. And it's really important that you know, well, for me, I'm not going to just continue living and working in the UK, earning what I earn, paying what I'm paying for rent, groceries.
Imagine how many years you would need, because the gap between what you're earning yearly and the house price is so large now. How many years would you need to work? 30, 40, 50, probably even 60 years just to pay off not only just the principal, but the interest that goes on with the mortgage that you take for a house. That's just freaking mental. And if you miss a couple of payments, you're done. You're done.
Bills, you name it. The prices are going up for everything. I love driving. I have a driving license. I don't have a car. Why? Well, because I live in the city. I don't really need a car. But it would be really nice to have a car. If I got a car, I would have to pay, well, for the car, for the insurance, for the road tax, for the maintenance, and I don't even have a parking space, so I would have to pay for a parking permit. So excluding the car, that's 4 big payments I need to make every year. So for me, based on the salary that I'm earning, I cannot afford to live in the city by myself and have a car and have a high standard lifestyle. For example, going to the gym, doing activities, everything costs money, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that leave one to do? Yes, we need money. Some people don't need to work, and that's great for them. But if you're like me, you need to earn a living. You need to go out and earn money to pay for your life. Now, when you're working, you shouldn't be working just to survive.
Exactly.
If you can excuse me, I'm a bit slow in this video. I'm just shocked at,
no, it just makes perfect sense. What the freaking hell? Like, the way I see it is, if you're working, your life should be better off than people that are just living off benefits, right? That's how I kind of see it. Like, work should not only just give you meaning, but should at least give you that leverage to live a more comfortable life than someone who's just living off benefits or just getting paid from the government, the government helping them out, right? They should just be surviving because, well, they're being assisted, right? They're being assisted so that they can stay afloat. And then if they work on top of that, then they can live a comfortable. But if you're working, if you're already working, you're being a productive member of society, why are you surviving? Why are you working to survive? What the fuck is that? That doesn't make sense to me.
One should not be working full-time in what's supposed to be a first world country just to survive. Most people that work in this country, they cannot even save money. So after you've paid your rent and your bills and all your fees...
Yeah, well, what's the purpose of working then? If you're not even able to at least live a slightly better standard of living, if you can't even get a better standard of living if you're working, so then what's the point of working then? It's not. It's you're just man. That's just messed up.
Even if you've made cuts, for example, you've decided to stop paying for Disney Plus or Netflix or something like that. Even if you're just paying for the necessities, even after paying for those, you have literally nothing left. To enjoy. Now, whose fault is this?
All work and no play?
For what's become of this country with the cost of living? I'm not going to point fingers and point at one person, of course. Is it the government's fault?
Maybe.
It may not be the government's fault for everything, but they are in a position to fix these issues. They don't need to magically make these issues disappear, but they need to at least help people. Recently, in the UK, they have took away a certain benefit from a certain group of people who are pensioners with disabilities. And this benefit that the UK government has taken from them is heat. So you've got old pensioners with disabilities who don't earn a lot. They're on state pension. They've been unable to work and save a lot of money for their pension. They may not have private pension. They have what they have. And winter is coming here in the UK. And winter is long. And winter is very cold. And people need heat. These people need heat in their homes. The government have taken it away. They've decided to make cuts. And they've chose to take away this benefit where they provide funding for heating these people's homes during the winter. And they're not getting it anymore. That is not a government I want to pay tax to. The amount of tax that we pay in the UK is quite high. It's quite high, even compared to other countries like Australia and the USA. I'm taxed 20%, that's income tax, 20%. So for every £100 I earn, they take £20 away. Plus national insurance, which is basically, if you're American, national insurance is like your social security. So I pay about 7% national insurance, so that's 27%. So they take £27 for every £100 that I earn. So when you add it all up, it's quite a lot. So when I'm looking at my paycheck and I look at how much they've taken, that's quite a substantial figure. That is an amount of money that I could actually do something with. Now, I don't mind paying tax, but at rates that high, it's quite concerning, especially when you're living in a country where they're making cuts, like taking vulnerable people's heating away. So the UK is going downhill. This is not a good country to live in. It's not a good country to actually grow up in and work. The best thing you can do, if you're British, born here, schooled here, if you're young and working, especially if you're ambitious and adventurous, the best thing you can do is get out of the UK. Now, I know what it's like to live in other countries because I have lived in other countries. I've lived in Japan for about almost 9 years. I have lived in the USA as well for a short time. But because I've spent a lot of my life in Japan, things are not perfect. No country is perfect, absolutely not. Japan is not perfect. But if I compare Japan to the UK when it comes to standard of living and how much you can earn and what they deduct from your paycheck, when I was working in Japan, they deducted about 10% income tax. That's half of what I pay. And I was earning more, actually, at the time. So I was making a lot of money in Japan. Healthcare is not free there, but the healthcare system is very good. You're not waiting months to see a doctor in Japan. You are paying probably about £100 to £200 per month on health insurance, but you are getting top quality healthcare quickly when you need it. Not only that, the standard of life in Japan is far higher than that of the UK when it comes to safety, when it comes to cleanliness of the streets. I'm not saying their government is perfect, but they make a lot of good decisions that make sense. Their infrastructure is incredible.
Yeah, and don't forget to talk about the people, the society. There's a culture there, right? I don't feel like there is anything here, because if you look at even the society, right? First of all, the cost of living, the cost of housing is so expensive. So what are private landlords doing? So they're saying they're renting out individual rooms inside a house. Let's say the house is like a 3-bedroom house. They'll rent out individual rooms. So not only are you living with complete strangers, so you'll never socialize with them, right? Because you know at the end of the day, maybe after a couple of months, 6 months down the line, this person's going to move out. So what's the point of me trying to get to know this person? They're just going to move out eventually, or I'm going to move out eventually. So there's no point, right? So you're not building any community. And when there's no community, there's no culture, and anyone and everyone is just doing their own thing. So you have no society, you have no community, you have no culture, right? It's just a mishmash of different ethnicities, races, living just so that they can survive. That's about it, basically. Everyone just does their own thing and pays their bills, and that's it. Goes to sleep. It's like you sleep, go to work, come back, eat, and repeat. That's about it. Oh man, it's really messed up. So I've really been thinking about this as well, and I don't know how much longer I can really, survive here. The cost is just the costs of everything. I remember a time I would go shopping and I would be able to get all my groceries in like with 50, 60 pounds. Now, like 50, 60 quid is nothing. Like you'd have to spend at least 120, 130 on a weekly shop to just get your basic necessities. And it's not like I'm buying anything luxurious for myself. I'm not going out there and buying like freaking, Gucci sweaters and stuff. I'm just buying basic stuff just so that I can feed myself, and just to get these kind of things, you're already spending so much money. You're spending so much on rent. You're spending so much on food. You have literally no savings whatsoever. How are you supposed to survive? Right? How are you supposed to survive? Why are we forced to survive is the question I have. If we're working, we're productive members of society. Why are we being forced to survive? I thought if you work hard, you'd be compensated well. You'd be able to live a better life than someone who's just living off benefits or someone who's living off the government. It's like the system is punishing you for being a productive member of society. That doesn't make sense to me. Like the more productive you are, the more you're punished, the more you're taxed. What? Anyway, guys, I just wanted to share these ideas with you guys, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. And thank you for checking out the channel. I really do appreciate all the support and love that you guys have given me. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep pushing, man. I'm gonna keep pushing, keep creating more content, and yeah, I mean, it's not easy, man. Honestly, shit, it's not easy. YouTube is just being a. Anyway, let me not get into that. All right, thank you guys for checking out the channel. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.